How to become the richest person in the wasteland when money is worthless. Banks are graveyards, and the only currency left is what keeps you breathing. The grid's been dark for 6 weeks. Gas stations are tombs guarded by desperate people with guns. Your neighbor traded his Rolex for a can of beans yesterday. He got ripped off. Because when civilization's life support flatlines, value doesn't disappear, it just shapeshifts into things you can hold, use, and trade before sundown. The guy with gold bars? He's starving. The guy with a box of Bic lighters? He's eating like a king. I'm not here to sell you fear. I'm here to sell you reality. And reality says this: when systems collapse, value inverts. The stuff you ignored becomes priceless. The stuff you worshipped becomes worthless. First up, water purification tablets. You know what kills more people in disasters than violence? Diarrhea. Brutal, fatal diarrhea from drinking bad water. When the taps run dry, boiling works, if you have fuel and time. Most people won't. Water purification tablets turn poison into hydration in 30 minutes. One bottle purifies hundreds of liters. I've seen people in Venezuela trade a week's worth of food for a single blister pack. You survive 3 weeks without food, maybe 3 days without water. Contaminated water? You're done in 48 hours. Nobody stocks these. They think they'll just boil water. Enjoy your cholera. I keep tablets everywhere. Cheap now, worth a fortune later. Second, antibiotics. You slice your hand on a rusty fence.
The clinic's closed. The hospital's overwhelmed. Pharmacies have been looted. That cut gets infected. You develop sepsis, you die from a cut. This is how people died before modern medicine, and it's how they'll die again. When antibiotics are gone, people trade anything for amoxicillin. Here's the secret. Fish antibiotics. Same compound, same dosage, over the counter. Amoxicillin, ciprofloxacin, doxycycline, all available. Store 'em cool and dark, and they last years past expiration. The ability to treat infections makes you a walking pharmacy. Third, tampons and feminine hygiene products. Half the population bleeds once a month. This doesn't stop during a collapse, but the supply chain does. Tampons aren't just about hygiene. They're dignity, health, infection prevention. Without them, women resort to rags, requiring clean water, leading to life-threatening infections. Survival hack? Tampons are sterile, absorbent, and compact. Use them for wound packing, fire tinder, even plugging small holes. Military medics used them for gunshot wounds when supplies ran out. Cheap, never expire, solve a problem affecting billions. You'll trade these for almost anything. Fourth on the list, salt. Salt is so common we throw it on roads, but for most of history, salt was currency. Wars were fought over it. Why? Without salt, you die. Your body needs sodium. Sweat it out, don't replace it, and you're looking at muscle cramps, confusion, seizures, death.
Salt is also the original food preservation. No refrigeration, salt your meat, fish, vegetables. Food lasts months instead of days. Salt disinfects wounds and never expires. Buy it in bulk. When refrigeration fails, the person with salt controls the food supply, and food is everything. Finally, duct tape. Duct tape is the universal problem solver. It's not elegant, it's not permanent, but it works fast. And in a collapse, speed beats perfection. Broken window, duct tape. Torn tent, duct tape. Leaking container, makeshift bandage, securing a splint, patching a boot, fixing a backpack, duct tape. Military uses it, NASA uses it. It's waterproof, strong, flexible. One roll solves 100 problems, but it degrades. Buy 20 rolls, store 'em cool and dark. When manufacturing stops, nothing improvises better. This isn't about surviving. This is about thriving. The new 1% won't be the people who held on to paper wealth. It'll be the people who understood what a human being actually needs when the lights go out. Start thinking like them. Start now.
Let's continue with the next item. Number 6, lighters. Specifically, disposable Bic lighters. Fire is life. It's the ancient technology that separates us from the animals. It purifies water, cooks our food, gives us warmth against the killing cold. But we've forgotten how hard fire is to make. We've outsourced that skill to a flick of the wrist. I want you to try starting a fire with sticks when you're cold. when you're wet, when you're exhausted and your hands are shaking. It's a brutal, humbling experience. This is why a simple lighter is survival gold. A single Bic gives you thousands of chances at fire. It works in the wind, in the rain, in the freezing cold. It requires zero skill. Unlike matches that get wet or ferro rods that take practice, a lighter just works. During the Bosnian War, people learned this lesson the hard way. A single lighter was trading for a month's worth of food. People burned through the one or two they had and then realized, far too late, they should have stockpiled them. I buy them by the 50-pack. I vacuum seal them. I stash them everywhere. They're cheap now. They'll be worth more than gold later. Number 7, paracord. This isn't just rope. This is rope on steroids. Standard 550 paracord holds 550 pounds. But the real magic is hidden inside. Cut it open. Inside that outer sheath, you'll find 7 individual inner strands. Pull them out. Suddenly, you have high-strength fishing line, snare wire, sewing thread, dental floss. You can even use it to set a tripwire.
The outer sheath itself, that's your tourniquet, your shoelace, your belt. You can weave it into nets to carry gear or catch food. Use it to build shelters, secure equipment, create traps, make weapons, fashion a stretcher for an injured person, even suture wounds in a desperate situation. It's waterproof, it's rot-resistant, it lasts for decades. I keep 100-foot length in every bag, in every vehicle. I wear a paracord bracelet. That's 10 feet of life-saving material on my wrist right now. In a real survival scenario, the only gear that truly matters is the gear you have on you. Number 8, a manual can opener. I know, this sounds stupid, it sounds trivial, until you're staring at 1,000 calories sealed in a metal can with absolutely no way to open it. Your electric opener, it's a paperweight. Those pull tabs, they break, and they're rarer than you think. Trying to use your survival knife? Good luck! You're more likely to sever a tendon and get to the food. A simple P38 style manual can opener costs $2. It weighs nothing, it never breaks, it is the single tool that stands between eating and starving to death next to a pile of food. I've watched people spend thousands of dollars on long-term canned goods, filling their basements, then have the realization dawn on them they own a single cheap electric opener. Buy 5. Put one on your keychain, one in your bag, one in your car. Number 9, garbage bags, specifically heavy-duty contractor bags. This is the single most underrated survival tool on the planet. They are waterproof, lightweight, and insanely versatile. Let me paint a picture. It's pouring rain, you're freezing. A garbage bag is now an instant rain poncho. The ground is soaked. It's your ground tarp.
You find a spring? It's your water storage. You're trying to stay warm at night? It's a vapor barrier for your shelter to prevent hypothermia. Use them to organize gear, as an improvised latrine, to transport supplies, to make a solar still to create drinking water, even as a flotation device. Heavy-duty contractor bags are nearly indestructible. A box of 50 costs less than a pizza and could solve 100 different life-threatening problems. Finally, number 10, knowledge. Here's what nobody thinks about in our digital age: information itself. When the internet dies, when the power grid fails, when your phone is a useless brick and Google is just a memory, what do you actually know? Survival guides, medical manuals, guides to edible and medicinal plants in your area, instructions for water purification, first aid, tying knots, preserving food. You need to print it all. Laminate it, store it in a waterproof bag. Knowledge is the ultimate multiplier. It weighs nothing, it never expires, it can't be stolen from your mind. In a total collapse, the person who knows how to purify water, treat a wound, identify food to eat, and build a shelter becomes the most valuable person in the room.
Let's continue with the next bonus items. Number 11, seeds. Heirloom, non-GMO, vacuum sealed. Here's the ultimate truth about collapse. Everything else on this list helps you survive. Seeds help you live. They're the difference between temporary survival and permanent sustainability. The bridge between scavenging the ruins of the old world and building a new one. Heirloom seeds are open-pollinated. This means the plants they produce create viable seeds for the next generation. You plant them once, harvest your food, save the seeds, and plant again. It's an infinite loop of food production. GMO or hybrid seeds don't work this way. They're often designed to be sterile or produce inferior second-generation plants. In a collapse, that's a death sentence. Heirloom seeds are freedom. Variety matters. You want vegetables that are calorie-dense, nutrient-rich, and right for your climate. Beans for protein, squash for calories and long-term storage, tomatoes for vitamins, potatoes for carbs, leafy greens for micronutrients, herbs for medicine and flavor. A well-rounded seed vault can feed a family indefinitely. The real power here is compressed potential. A single packet of tomato seeds weighing just a few grams can produce hundreds of pounds of food over multiple seasons. That is an insane return on investment. And in a barter economy, seeds are the perfect currency. They're lightweight, standardized, universally valuable, and they represent future food security. A person with seeds controls food production. That's not just wealth, that's power. You can trade seeds for labor, for protection, for supplies, for loyalty. You can create alliances by sharing seeds. You build a community around food production. Seeds are the foundation of civilization. Storage is critical. Seeds need to be cool, dry, and dark to maintain viability. Vacuum sealed in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers, stored in a cool basement or root cellar, most seeds will last 5 to 10 years. Some last for decades. I store mine in a waterproof, fireproof safe. They're that valuable. Buy seed vaults from reputable companies. 10,000 plus seeds, over 30 varieties, all heirloom and non-GMO. Also buy individual packets of your own high-value crops. And learn basic gardening and seed-saving techniques now before you need them. Knowledge without practice is useless. The science is beautiful. A seed is a plant embryo in suspended animation, surrounded by stored nutrients just waiting for the right conditions to explode into life.
Water, warmth, soil. They trigger germination. The embryo consumes the nutrients, breaks through the seed coat, and begins photosynthesis. From one tiny seed comes a plant that produces thousands more seeds. It's biological wealth creation. In a collapse, the person with a garden has food. The person with seeds has a garden. The person with a seed vault has an empire. When the grocery stores are empty, when the supply chains are dead, when people are starving, you will have the one thing that creates food from dirt and sunlight. That's not just valuable, that's godlike. Number 12. Batteries. Rechargeable with a solar charger. Power is modern magic. Light in the darkness, communication across distance, information at your fingertips. When the grid dies, when every single outlet is dead, the person with working batteries has a functioning piece of the old world. The key is rechargeable batteries with a solar charging system. Disposable batteries are valuable short-term, but they are consumable. Once they're dead, they're trash. Rechargeable batteries with a solar charger create infinite power as long as the sun rises. That's civilization rebuilding technology. Focus on AA and AAA NIMH rechargeables. They're the most common sizes. They work in most devices. Flashlights, radios, GPS units, medical devices, tools. Pair them with a quality solar charger that handles multiple batteries at once. The applications are endless. Light for navigation and security. Radios for communication and information. GPS for navigation. Medical devices like blood pressure monitors or glucose meters. Tools like headlamps or electric screwdrivers. Every battery-powered device becomes operational again. Think about the barter value. You're not just trading batteries, you're trading power as a service. Someone needs their radio working. They bring you their dead batteries, you charge them with your solar setup, and they trade you food or supplies for that service. You aren't depleting your own resources. You're creating ongoing value. That's sustainable wealth in a collapsed economy. The psychology is powerful too. A working flashlight in total darkness is more than practical. It's hope. It's proof that technology still works, that the old world isn't completely gone. That psychological value translates directly to real trading power. Stockpile 50 to 100 rechargeable batteries in various sizes. Get multiple solar chargers. Redundancy is survival. Learn which of your devices are most critical and prioritize those. And protect your setup like gold, because in a dark world, it basically is.
Which brings us to the truth about value. Gold is pretty,
It's shiny. It's been a symbol of wealth for thousands of years, but you can't drink it, you can't eat it, and you can't use it to start a fire when you're freezing to death. When systems collapse, value makes a hard shift away from abstract wealth to practical utility. The items I've just listed aren't exotic or expensive, they're common, they're cheap, they're boring. Until they're not. The people who make it through a collapse aren't the richest. They're the ones who saw the writing on the wall and quietly stocked up on the stuff that actually matters. Start now. Start small, but start. Because when the music stops, and history shows us it always eventually does, you'll either be the person trading your Rolex for a single lighter, or you'll be the person with a box of lighters watching the Rolexes pile up. Your move.